Welcome everybody to Dialers through the Tactics. It is that time of the month to do one of my favorite videos, that being the best heroes in Eternal Evolution. Now I do this at the end of every month because we get new content quite often, I'd say consistently, which switches up the relevance of certain characters. Now this is going to be an end game roster's perspective of the best characters in every class. But this will help you if you're free to play, if you're new, if you're mid-game. I will discuss that how some characters can be more relevant beginning and mid-game. But in general, this is going to give you a roadmap to build your roster to be the most effective it's going to be for the current endgame content. I think I said that properly. Alright, so let's go directly to it. I'm going to hide my face here so that if you want to... Wrong one. So if you want to screenshot this, you can. So there you go. So you can screenshot this, use it if you want. It's also available on the spreadsheet, which is linked in the description. So how I do this is I separate every class in the game, and I break out supports into healer and support, and I break out... I kind of amalgamate melee to include assassins and vanguards because we don't have a whole lot of assassins, which I think we're going to get more, but we don't have a lot of vanguard either. So I do classify them together, but I break out support because they're completely different things. So let's start right at tanks. Now, last month I had Zeta up top here. I'm just checking to see if I'm recording because I did this whole video already and didn't record it. I had Zeta up here, but nobody uses Zeta. Nobody has Zeta. She's not great. She doesn't have a whole lot of special things built into her kit. She has more survivability, but given the complexity of kits, she's a launch character, a game launch character. She just doesn't bring anything to the table. Langale is pure trash. The game's going to give him to you early, but he's pure trash. Queet as well. Hercules, they're just trash. Hercules used to have some relevance a long time ago, but now, given his kit, he puts up a big shield against... he links his health with somebody else's health. But really, tanks in this game now, at this point in the game cycle, they need CC. Boar, he has a lot of survivability, but he also has an ability where he will toss the frontline character to the backline. So, say, like, if you're going up against a Leo, okay... How do I deal with Leo? Well, one thing you can do is you can put Boar in your front line and he'll chuck Leo to the back. It'll give you a little bit more time to do what you got to do. In my opinion, right now for tanks, and the reason why I don't have any tanks in the top slot is because we don't have a tank that's just OP. You know, this game really has to build tanks. So I don't feel right putting Oysa and Oak up front, even though they're the best in class, in my opinion. I don't feel right putting them right at the top, given the other kind of competition they're going up against in the other classes. But Oak and Oysa have really good CC built into their kit. Oak has really good survivability because he has a cheat death. He also has CC abilities, which is what makes him so good, because he can hold the line. And Oysa, I really like Oysa. I really do. And I give her the edge over Oak because of her ability to be immune to CC, and she has a lot of CC built into her kit. So I build her completely HP, damage reduction boots, some accuracy so she can get off her AOE stun. I really like Oysa endgame to the point where I have her at S level 80 and fully talented. So that's pretty much tanks. Don't want to spend too much time on them. Healers, I really don't have to spend too much time on healers. If you are free to play or if you're beginning game, you're going to use Liren, which is why I have him placed kind of in the middle. You're going to use him everywhere, but as soon as you get these other three, you're never going to use him again, really. You're just not. Last month I had Bada over Serena. That kind of ticked a few people off. So I did kind of relent to their discussion. Serena should be a triple S character. She is better than Bada. I will concede that. With her AOE defense up, her AOE healing reaches across the board. Bada, she has range issues. Her little fountain in the back can only be used twice, and it takes forever. But Bada does have a really, really high single target healing. And they are constantly tweaking Bada's kit to make her better than Serena. She's gone through 2 buffs. 2 buffs. But she's still not better at this point. Masrani, hands down, the majority of you will have him. As soon as you have him, you're going to use him everywhere possible. Masrani has so much support and AoE healing built into his kit. He is the best healer, hands down. AoE DPS. Okay, well, the AoE DPS is, now we're getting into a little bit more complex classifications. I think last month I gave Ravenna the edge over Luke. Ravenna was better in the Valentine's Day event, and she tends to do better in those kind of gauntlet events where it's like wave upon wave upon wave upon wave of character. But I don't use her in endgame PvP. I do use Luke in endgame PvP. Luke, he has unlimited range. You can tweak his talents to make him a damage monster. At this point now, I would give Luke, right now in the game, right now where we have what we have standing, Luke is better than Ravenna at the moment, given his usability in PvP. Now, Nagrama is still a great character in my opinion. He is the Sincero Marsh egg killer if you don't have like a Dan, if you don't have like high-end summoners which you can use in Sincero Marsh. Beginning game on my main, or on my baby account, my baby free-to-play account, I still use Nagrama every day. He just can whip around and kill those eggs in Sincero Marsh and kill the spiders that hatch out of them, and just keeps going, right? He is a decent character until endgame, which is when you'll shuffle him out of use. Falvia, the same. Falvia's got a really cool kit. She's got AoE, but if there's a single target, her AoE will condense into that single target, so she can do high single target damage as well as AoE damage, versus like, I don't know, like, yeah, she can rival hunters, and she's an energy character. So like, say an energy bond in Twilight, you can use Luke, Ravenna, Falvia, or like Falvia, Kayn, and Nagrama, or Omar, or whatever. So she does have some use, but she's a little bit more exclusive. She's a little bit harder to get. Kayn as well is a little bit harder to get. You're not going to have him develop till probably mid-game. You can use him, but I have never really reached a point in my game where I can use him. Once you have him fully developed, he is okay if you don't have Luke or Ravenna. He's just kind of mid-tier. But he is better than Omar, which Omar, free-to-play or beginning, you can use him. He does the job, but his damage and his AoE capabilities, his AoE is really only on his ult, and his ult doesn't come up enough to really make him relevant. So basically, all of these are going to be irrelevant at some point in the game cycle. Really, in energy, you're only ever going to use these two. But you will use them throughout the game. I know I definitely used Omar. Everyone uses Omar. Everyone's going to use Nagrama. I can't say the same for Falvia and Kayn, given how prevalent you can get them. Paluno, the game just feeds you a whole lot of copies early, so you are going to use him in Atlas Faction Mine. You may even use him in AoE certain situations. Murphy Row, for an elite, he is really hard to get. So you're probably never going to use Murphy Row, but Murphy Row is better than Ornn and Karma, which is why he's above them. But you're probably never, I don't think anybody uses Murphy Row. And speaking of Ornn and Karma, the game's going to feed you them really early, and you're going to like them probably. They're going to be your AoE characters until you start getting these mid-tier characters, and then those will be replaced by Luke and Ravenna. But Ornn and Karma are basically hot garbage. Their damage just isn't there. Their kits suck. They're just filler characters until you get the ball rolling on other AoE characters. Now, single target DPS. Single target DPS. This is a complex one. And things have changed because the Hunter team was the go-to Guild Hunt Whale Boss team. But now, with the introduction of Rickert, Assassins seem to be better on the Guild Hunt Whale Boss. But if you don't have Rickert and you do have a well-built single-target Hunter team, Emma is your queen. Still, nothing's really changed. Emma is still your queen. Azina, I feel kind of bad putting her here on the list because really what her job is to buff Emma, right? She just takes Emma and bumps her up to another tier. But standalone, Azina can do okay damage. She will buff any other. Like, say if you pair her with Taylor, she will do well, although I bet you Taylor's going to outdamage her. So she's just a facilitator. but she will pretty much be mandatory in your Guild Hunt team if you have Emma. So she's kind of hard to get to because you get her in week 2, and you're going to pick Emma over Azina, so she's going to be harder to get because you're going to have to put like gene hybrids into her further down the line. She's an interesting character. Taylor, you're going to use even at endgame, right? So Taylor is going to be good in the whale boss at Guild Hunt. He's still used up until Turbine 12 in Guild Hunt. You're going to want to use Taylor in those Turbine bosses. He is still an excellent character. He should be a triple S for how much you use him. Now, this is interesting. Nautilus and Sorietta. Sorietta is going to be used at endgame. You're going to use her at beginning game. You're going to use her at mid game. He is still a great character. I still want to say she because it seems like a girl's name, but it is actually a he. But Sorietta will be replaced by Nautilus. They're both kind of the same kind of character. They're not hunters, they're energy, but they're single target DPS, multi-hitters. So Nautilus, you will use Sorietta in Guild Hunt Whale until you get Nautilus, which is at that point then you will replace them. But other than that, Nautilus doesn't have a whole lot of uses. And that's the same for Prygor and Moriami. Really, the only use for Prygor and Moriami is Twilight Lands, because they are AOE hunters. So you will use them on Hunter Bonds and Twilight Lands. Other than that, you're not going to use them for any other place, and they're really hard to get. Prygor and Nautilus both are rewards from Twilight Lands, so you have to choose which one to build. And Moriami is a reward from Summit Arena, which you don't get a whole lot of copies. If you completely clear Twilight Lands, you can get a lot of Nautilus and Prygor copies. You can't get a whole lot of Moriami copies very easily. And really, in Hunter Bond, you just need Prygor. You can use Emma and Taylor to fill in the gaps for the bosses that you need them on. You know which. Big Horsey, Unicorn Dude. So, the reason why I have them over Botmark is because they do have an end game use. Whereas Botmark, if you have everybody else, at end game, you're not going to use him. However, beginning game, you're going to use Botmark everywhere. Everywhere. I still would recommend to take him up to exclusive 20. Him and Taylor and Sorietta are going to be your beginning and mid game. Well, I guess if you play your cards right, Emma, beginning and mid game too, but I'd say Botmark, Taylor, and Emma are going to be your go-to hunter team beginning and mid game until you get some of these other characters built out. So should he be higher? Maybe, but at end game, you're not going to use him. At end game, you're actually not even going to use Sorietta. So maybe I should tweak these a little bit. Maybe I should put Prygor and Moriami butted up against Nautilus and then have Sorietta and Botmark there. Maybe, we'll see. But for now, this is how I got him ranked. Xander, he's an attack speed hunter. You got to build him in Gluttony. Other people have tried. He just doesn't do what he's got to do. He just doesn't do the damage output. So he's not trash. Like, you can use him in Atlas Faction Mine if you don't have other Atlas characters built up. He's not trash like Langel, Ornn, and Karma. And those are the only characters I consider trash. But he's not great. I do try to make spacing relevant here. Like, as you see, like, I do think these characters are all kind of in the same tier. Although I think Muka should be a little bit further ahead now. I don't know if you can see Muka. He might be under my head. Yeah, he is. But he's not trash, but he's not great. All right, so now we're going to move my head so that we can discuss the last 3 classes. I'm going to try to keep this under 20 minutes. Melee. Now, I do lump Assassins and Vanguard together because apart, there's not a whole lot of numbers in their classes. But still, to this day, hands down, Leo is the #1 best melee character, best Vanguard as well. Everyone needs Leo. Oh, my nose just starts getting plugged for a minute. Everybody needs Leo. If you want to finish Twilight 15, like completely, to get your triple S Hyper Evolution crystals, you need Leo. And you need him at Immortal. His kit needs him at least, I think, Legendary for some of his exclusives to work. Hands down, even though he's not good in he has uses where he's not good. PvP he's good. PvE he's good. I guess I should say, no, I know you use him everywhere. He's just hands down the best. The best. One of the top 3 characters in the game. Now, Rickert. So these 3, I had him. I think I had Crete over Bailey last month because you use the triple Vanguard team, which is Leo, Nafeng, and Crete. Used to be you'd put like Serena and Bailey on that team. And Bailey was starting to get his uses at endgame were starting to diminish. Right? He's great, absolutely god tier at beginning and mid game. But then his uses were diminishing, which is why he was below Crete last month. But now, with the introduction of Rickert, Bailey and Rickert go together like Romeo and Juliet, which might be a bad description, but it's the first one that came to mind. Rickert is a DPS monster, absolutely DPS monster. But to get the most out of him, you're going to want to pair him with Bailey. Now, the assassin team in general isn't great for PvP. It's not. It will defeat some C tier. It won't really do well against the Vanguard team. It's not going to do well against the Summoner. It's going to do horribly against the Summoner team. But it will kill other things. But the team's not built out yet. The developers are just starting to get rolling on the assassin team. So, for now, PvP-wise, meh. PvE-wise, though, oh man, he's already made a drastic impact. The assassin team is now considered like one of the best teams for Guild Hunt Whale Boss. Go figure. There's a bunch of videos out there. Go look at them. The new assassin, basically Terradome 2.0 in the Catosian Triangle, Rickert and Bailey are... You need them to beat the last level tier 6. And Rickert will just blow Bailey's damage out of the water. He is a damage god, which is why he is second under Leo. I think that after give it another month, maybe Rickert will be butted up against Leo. We'll see what direction they take the assassin team. But that's why, like we already discussed, Bailey, why he's above Crete. That's why I got these 2 assassins right up here as the 2 and 3 spot. Now, Crete falls down a little bit because really, beginning game and mid game, Crete's going to be one of your favorite characters. You're going to use him frontline everywhere until you get Leo. And then at endgame, you're going to pair him with Leo and Nafeng to make up one of the second best PvP team in the game, which is the Triple Vanguard team. Which is why Crete is still hanging on here for relevance. Nafeng, again, same reason. He's up this high because he is a facilitator to Leo in the Triple Vanguard team. The Triple Vanguard team is also really good in Twilight Lands. You can use them to great effectiveness right up until the higher stages. And now it gets a little bit more wishy-washy. So Randall and Rakana both have good uses in the assassin team for Whale Hunt, Guild Hunt Whale Boss. But I think Randall is used more in like the Catosian Triangle. He's used with Rickert and Bailey Hudson as well. I think Randall is better on the assassin PvP team. Could be wrong. That's what I think. Because Randall has just a little bit more survivability, in my opinion. So Nafeng and Randall are both kind of facilitators to Leo and Rickert, respectively. Now, Artis is paired with Rakana because you can use Rakana on the Guild Hunt Whale Boss as well. You're probably not going to put them with the other 3 assassins in other PvE content. But Artis still, to this day, is getting good use based on his kit in Guild Hunt bosses under 50%. Under 50%, Artis facilitates really, really, really good damage numbers. And some people do like Artis over Nafeng in the Vanguard team. So Artis, still relevant. Unfortunately for Guan Yu, we haven't gotten a banner for him yet in North America. There was only one opportunity to get a chip of his. I don't think his kit, he's a launch character for Southeast Asia servers. I don't think his kit is built properly now, unless they do something with bleeds in the future to make Guan Yu really relevant. So he's not trash, but he's not relevant. Support. Now this is just pure support. As you see, I got a huge gap in variability. Hypnos, we'll start at the bottom, work our way up. Hypnos has some initial uses, but he's very quickly going to get into the trash, not hot garbage, but trash category. And Aruda, if you are lucky and you have a really, really high developed Aruda, you can pair him with Daniel to do really cool things for story mode. But that's about it. Rez is an absolute support god in PvP and in PvE. What he does is he basically just supercharges any of your other characters. He doesn't do anything really relevant other than that, but his ability to do that gives you the edge in all those other game modes. I use him in story. I just used him to complete a roadblock in story 51 something. As well, I use him every day in PvP, and I use him. People do use him in, let's say, the hunter team in Guild Hunt Whale Boss. He's just a really good character. Get yourself some res. Don't spend any gene hybrids on him, but yeah, he is the top of his class in support. All right, what do we got? I gotta wrap it up. I don't want to make it longer than 25 minutes. Summons. The summoner team is the best team in the game. The new content, the Crimson Abyss boss, which gives you your leveling ability or leveling materials, is a summoning boss. Daniel is the summoning god of the team. You can use him everywhere. You don't have to use him in a summoning team. You can use him in story campaigns. You can use him in Terradome. You can even use him in the Roulette of Truth in the Katosian Triangle. If you don't have assassins, he is along with Leo, one of the top 3 characters in the game. 1 and 2 is debatable. 1A and 1B, top characters in the game over everybody, Leo and Daniel. And then maybe there's a huge argument for third, so I'm not even to start that. But Leo and Daniel, Daniel is the king after Leo, or with Leo. And as such, he's the best in class in summoners. Now, Anpu was by himself last month in January, was already making a splash. He could do more damage than Daniel in certain content modes. But it wasn't until we got Sir Valley at the beginning of February where Anpu became a god as well, as he should be, because he's the god of death, Anubis. Him and Sir Valley paired together can almost get you through all of Twilight. No joke. Leo, Daniel, Mazrani, Anpu, Sir Valley can almost clear all of Twilight. Enough said. He's got so much CC in his kit. He makes use of the new gear sets. He's got huge damage numbers. He is just fantastic. Which is why Sir Valley gets such a high ranking as well. Because of her, kind of like Azina, because of her ability to supercharge Anpu and heal. Sir Valley is really, really great. If there was no Anpu in this game, though, she would probably be down here with Muka. The reason why she's good is because of Anpu. And Anpu was already good because of Sir Valley. He's now god tier with Sir Valley, but standing alone, Sir Valley would be way down here. But I have to put her up here because of how much she brings that team up everywhere with her presence. Skewer and Hattie. Now, I did put Skewer and Hattie a little bit above Senway and Kalaza, but she is getting less and less. Her use case, kind of like Bailey was. When she came into the game, she was this great, one of the greatest summoners ever. But now, with the addition of Anpu and Sir Valley, her use case, she kind of gets pushed out of the summoner team in some places. She does still have relevance in the guild hunt against the Turbine boss. She can be used in PvP, but a lot of places, maybe she's a tank, will replace Skewer and Hattie. So she's good. She's good. She's really, really good. They're really, really good. But they're not as good as they used to be. To the point where, say like in Guild Hunt, Senway and Kalaza will do more damage than Skewer and Hattie. But Skewer and Hattie has to be on the team because she buffs the attack of the rest of the summoners. So is she better than Senway and Kalaza? I think so still, yes. but not by leaps and bounds, which is why Senway and Kalaza are quickly after her. Now, in game modes where you're going to use Daniel, Ampu, and Sorvali, Senway and Kalaza have been pushed out. But you still need them on the Guild Hunt boss team, which gives them relevance, which is why they're still right up here. Like, it's Daniel, Ampu, and then it's kind of complex, kind of muddy. So these two are still completely relevant, still good characters. I X20 Kalaza this week. Kalaza's still good in Guild Hunt. And then we got Muka. Muka was garbage. Then he was kind of, he's kind of okay. And now he's just kind of fallen back. I kind of got him ahead of Alexander. Like, I don't call him trash. I don't call Muka trash. Some people, or at least one person in my guild, just X30 their Muka and is using him as the summoner tank because of the new prototype that we just got for summoners, which definitely turns Muka into a true legitimate tank. But for me to say that all of you should go out there and X30 your Muka is for me to butt him up to like Kalaza. I'm not going to do that. So Muka is definitely not trash, but he is bottom tier in the summoner team. All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, 26 minutes. I went a little long. That concludes the best heroes in the game for February 2023. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, contradictions with my assessments, please put them down in the comments section where I will interact with you. I respond to all my comments. The link for this graphic is in the description under EE Spreadsheet, so you can go look at it as well. I have hero gearing lists. I got a prototype spreadsheet. I've got as well, I got a free-to-play starter rotation. I'm documenting my free-to-play account week by week. So all of that is in the EE Spreadsheet link that's in the description. With that, enjoy your weekend, everybody. Cheers. Peace. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.